I'm here to review the Real Housewives of Atlanta, Season 9, Episode 9. So let's get this popping. The scene opens with Kenya and Cynthia meeting at a dog wash. Well, Cynthia thought it was going to be a dog walk, that they were going to walk the dogs. And when she got inside, her dog was not feeling it. Her dog was very nervous. And she decided to, just stick with what she's been doing, letting her own personal groomer groom her dog. And Kenya decided to wash one of her dogs off. And the dog wasn't feeling it. The dog looked like it was so uncomfortable, and it just wasn't feeling it. But in the meantime, they began to talk, and Kenya revealed why she really invited Cynthia to this dog wash. To tell Cynthia that Peter asked her to host the opening of his new club in Atlanta called Club One. Cynthia said, "Really? Well, I didn't know anything about it. That's just like Peter's selfish behind." She was never selfish with him, not even with her money or her time. She supported him in any way she could. And he didn't even tell her about the opening, didn't invite her, and now he's inviting her friends. Now you tell me that's not selfish. But anyway, what Kenya says, well, I want to invite you to come with me. I'm not going to do it without you. And Cynthia said, so what is my gain in this? And she said, you'll be there to see what's going on and surprise Peter. And Cynthia agrees, okay, I'll be there. But I just think it's just like a man who you're divorcing to try to, take over your friends. Even though they shared a lot of friends. So we'll see how this goes. Peter and Todd meet at a car dealership. Peter decides that he's going to look single too. He's going to drive single. So he's looking for a nice new sporty car. He picks out a car. The salesman gives him a key to take the car on a test drive. And he and Todd begin to talk. And he's inviting Todd to his club opening in Atlanta. And Todd agrees to come. And Todd asks him about Cynthia. Are you inviting Cynthia? Because he knows that they're divorcing. And Peter says, listen to this. No, we're going to keep things separate. Her life is her life. My life is mine. So I didn't invite her. Just like Peter's selfish ass. I'm telling you, that man is selfish. I can't get with him. And Peter decides to buy this gorgeous car. And Todd says, are you going to put it outside the club during the opening? And Peter said, you bet I am. Okay, and the car is gorgeous. Kandi and Todd. Kandi and Todd are at home, and Todd brings out 3 suits. And he asks Kandi to help him pick one out. And during the time she's picking him one out, I don't blame her for telling him not the bow tie one. You're not going to be Benson. Not tonight, babe. Todd gets a text. Somebody forwards a text picture to him. And it's a picture of Kandi and her staff. And it's from someone who Kandi works with, who might even have been in the picture. And they say something about separating the real from the fake. And Kandi is confused by the picture because the person who sent it, Johnny, is someone who works with her. And she doesn't understand why he's calling her fake. She wants to get to the bottom of it. So she has an event later on the same night of Peter's opening. So she's not going to be able to go to Peter's opening. But she does want to make sure that she talks to Johnny during the time that she goes to her candy-coated event. Now, this is the event, even though the old lady gang restaurant is draining them, candy-coated is making money. And Kandi states that Kandi feels like it's making enough money to be, to keep it going. It's like 4 to 6 years. I'm not sure, exactly how many years, but it's been turning a profit. And she likes it like that because the other one is draining them dry. They're still working at it. They haven't given up, but this restaurant thing is not an easy thing, and they're finding that out firsthand. Kandi gets to the event later on that night, and she's talking over things. She got there early so she could talk over things with her people, and she spots Johnny, and she pulls Johnny to the side. Let me talk to you. I don't blame her if I'm paying you. So anyway, the conversation went as, why did you send this out? Why would you consider me being fake? And he said it all goes back to when you fired me in February. And I didn't think it was fair. I think it was at least worth a conversation with me. And Kandi said, well, number one, I didn't fire you. Don Juan did. I don't have to have conversations with everybody, every employee in here. Don Juan does. He's my manager. And I don't blame you, Kandi. But the guy feels like, do you think that you paid me what was worth? And Kandi's like, I don't give a flying F if you don't think you were paid well. You agreed to the payment and you agreed to do the job, and you should have done the job. Now, Kandi's business practices have come into question in previous seasons. One was with Don't Be Tardy for the Party. She never signed, what is this girl's name? I can't even remember her name. But she never signed her to any contract. She did all this work, put all her people to work for her. And then when the money started coming in and the record started being very popular, she didn't get half of what the Don't Be Tardy for the Party. I know her name, but it escapes me right now. So that was one thing. And there are other things that come up. She did work with the girl again, and she made another record. But this time she didn't release it because the girl didn't want to pay her for a time. Well, Kandi, that's what happens when you do things for free. People think that they're going to always be free or super duper cheap, where you're going to lose money and they're going to make money. So, I don't know what happened with this guy, but he did seem to agree to do the work for that amount of money. Kandi had her candy-coated convention, and it was a lot of people there, and she's giving a lot of women or a lot of people a chance to make money. And after the convention, Johnny hightailed it straight over to Phaedra's office, looking to talk to Phaedra about a possible lawsuit against Kandi. He started telling her he worked 80 hours and got paid only $500. He was a chauffeur. He was the event planner. He did a lot of things, and he felt like she wasn't paying him what he was worth. So, God damn it, why did you sign a contract with him? Why did you agree to the low payment? You're an independent contractor. You have your own business. You independent contract with Kandi. How the hell you figure now you're going to come behind? The only thing I can see them, if he can prove that he worked these 80 hours and the $500 turns out to be under minimum wage, Kandi may have to pay him a little more. But other than that, if you agree to the payment, then you got your pay. I don't see what he's complaining about. But this is all going to work itself out, and I can't wait to see how it does. Sheree and Bob. Sheree invited Bob. This is called the extreme workout. Here Bob come through the door sweating like a bull again. I don't know what's wrong with this guy. That maybe he does have a little bit extra weight on that might help him stop sweating, because Bob sweats all the time. Every time he's on camera. I don't know if it's from the heat from the cameras or what, but Bob sweats a lot. And so this extreme workout, Sheree and Bob's going to try. So Sheree tried it. She fooled around and jumped down and hurt her toe. Bob tried it, and he had to jump from elevation that was really high. And when he jumped and put all that weight on those little ankles, I feel sorry for his little ankles. I'm like, you're going to have to go see a doctor, probably Bob. Because you just can't go from not working out to extreme workout. You know, both of you, well, Sheree works out, but Bob is going to have to, you know, diet and exercise, Bob. It's a combination of things. But it was really great the way he wanted to, you know, at least try it to please Sheree. During the time they were exercising, Sheree got a phone call from her publicist. You know, Sheree has a book coming out about the things that she's experienced in Atlanta. And it's a fictional book, but it's going to include some things that really did happen. So Bob's eavesdropping. When she gets off the phone, he asks her about this book. He said, I don't know what you, I might have to get a pre-look at this book. And he said, you better believe you're in there. It's a character that mimics, you know, you, but it's fictional. You know, you don't have to worry about it. Bob's like, okay, I still want an advanced copy of this book. Porsha's moving out of her rental house because she wants to save and get a house for herself. And she decides to move in with her mom for a while. And her brother Todd came over to help her move. Now, during the time she was looking for a house, this girl looked at a $1.8 million house. Y'all go ahead on, girl. For a single girl, you know, if she can buy that kind of house, then girl, you do it. You all do it. Look, Sheree built a big, beautiful house. Kenya did a big, beautiful house. And I guess the pressure is on for Porsha to find her right house for her and her future children and husband and family. After she got moved in, later that night, she got a call from Todd while she was in her bedroom. She's at her mom's house now, in her bedroom. And she goes downstairs to sneak Todd, her boyfriend, into her mom's house. And I'm like, okay, Porsha, don't get put out in the streets. Because if you had did that in my mother's house, she'd have kicked the door in and both of us would have been put out in the cold or the heat, whatever it just so happened to be. But don't get put out in the streets messing around. But again, that's a southern town too, Atlanta. They don't play that. But anyway, she sneaks Todd up to her room. I thought it was, you know, a little cute, but Porsha, you're a grown-ass woman. You all could have made arrangements at a nearby hotel or something if you wanted to sleep together. And she invites him to her room. She tells him about this noni egg, and this dude's face is like, what the hell are you up to now, Porsha? And she, I guess before sex, she's burning sage because this is supposed to help with the pregnancy, so she thinks. Okay, Porsha, I don't know where you're getting these ideals from. And she talks about this noni egg is supposed to make it tighter, her vaginal area tighter. And Todd said, well, I can remember. It was pretty tight, Porsha. He's just ready to get down. And they, you know, it was just a scene that may reminisce of someone, you know, dating for the first time or first love, first real love, and you're getting ready to have your first experience with sex. It was a cute scene. And I don't know. The only thing that was different is that her mom, I hope she never finds out this girl. And then she's burning sage. You think the mom is not going to smell the sage in the house? Peter and Todd get in there and greet each other. They both look casket sharp. They both dress very nicely. The place is packed. It looks like it's going to be a good one for Peter. The music is lively. People are all around. It just seems like, you know, Peter's going to make good with this. Then Cynthia arrives. Cynthia's looking like the model she is. This girl looks gorgeous. She's wearing white. She's got her hair up. And girl just looked good. And Peter almost choked on whatever it was he was drinking when he saw it. He's like, uh-oh, there she goes. Now I know he probably figured she's gonna come. He didn't know how to act. So Cynthia confidently, I love the confidence in this woman, walks over to Peter. Hey, how you doing? Gives him a hug. He didn't know what to do. He didn't know whether to hug her because he's staring at her and she just looked, damn, why she do this to me? That girl looking good. And she was looking good. And she hugs Todd. And then she tells Peter, I need to talk to you about Kenya. So they go outside and they stand in front of the club. And Peter's giving her all kind of accolades and confidence. And she doesn't know how to take it. She's like, if you thought all this, why were you doing what you're doing? That's what I'm thinking, because she didn't say this. This is Sharon saying it. But they look so good together standing there. And she starts to tell him that Kenya may not make it because Matt is clowning on her, sending her threatening texts. So you may have to, pay me a fee for stepping in. He said, I'm not paying no fee. I told you that, Peter. And Cynthia, don't you step in. But anyway, later on, Kenya decides to show up. And she gets there with her driver. And Matt shows up. And Matt walks over to the car. Max walks over to the car. And he says, Kenya, let me talk to you. And she's telling the driver that this man is dangerous. Why is he coming over there? And the driver doesn't know the history behind Kenya and Matt's drama. So next thing you know, you hear the driver say, he hit me. He slapped me. Kenya repeats it. He slapped you. He slapped him. So she calls Peter. She calls Cynthia. And Cynthia says she's outside now. Why don't you go get her? Because she's afraid that, Matt's out there and he might clown. Well, by the time Peter and Todd get outside, Matt is pulling off, in a hurry. And Matt, you's about a dumb motherfucker if I ever seen one in my life. I'm sorry to curse, but you need to know that this girl needs a storyline. So she's pulling you in. So anyway, let me tell the story first. So they walk Kenya into the place. And then she's talking about he's so crazy. He's crazy. He just wants to threaten me and do all these things. And she's always after she's pulled him in to do some of this crazy stuff. She says the most phenomenally silliest, stupidest thing in the world. But Mike has potential. I know, like she told her dad after he broke her garage door, a little glass in her garage. I know this man loves me. Right. That's why every time he comes around, you call him all kind of bad names. You never say any of this when he's around or the cameras are around. But she's smart enough to do this shit off camera. Work him back into the storyline and then push him away. And he's dumb enough to keep it going. So Peter and Ty go outside and they get on the phone and they like, Matt, what the fuck is wrong with you? And Matt tells them, Kenya, I went to the car to talk to Kenya, and as I'm coming over to stick my head in the window, the man rolls the window up on my neck. So I reached out and slapped and punched him. And they started laughing. Well, I wouldn't want to be punched either. But they tell Matt, you stay away from Kenya. He starts to tell them, she pulls me in. Now, she invited me to this thing, and you invited me too. And then she throws me back out. It's confusing. She begged me to come back and come to this thing. So when I do decide to come, she has it where my ticket is canceled. And it just pissed me off. So I wanted to come here and tell her, this is stupid what you're doing. But they're both stupid. You, Matt, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with you because you're a nice, decent looking guy. But You're not the sharpest knife in the drawer. You need to see this is not for you. You're going to wind up in jail somewhere on some bullshit. So if I was you, I wouldn't care how much she talked me back in. I wouldn't go. And Kenya, Peter went right back in and told Kenya, you need to stay away from Matt. Matt is not for you. You guys are not, you all are toxic to each other. Stay away. You'll do better. It's a big old world, find you somebody else. Well, that's it. I hope you enjoyed it. Please comment, like, and subscribe. And I'll be back with the next one.